Welcome, my friend, to Next Level Change Success. I'm Therese Perez, a change strategist and practitioner with over 20 years of experience designing and delivering impactful change programs across various industries. In this podcast, I share real-world practical strategies to help you create and deliver positive change experiences, whether you're a leader, practitioner, or someone looking to bring new ways of working to life. In today's fast-paced world, change is constant. Here we focus on how you can put people at the centre of your change strategy, because people with a sense of purpose are the most important link in driving performance. So if you're ready to create meaningful change and achieve all the success that comes with it, keep listening. Together, let's change the conversation and take it to the next level. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Change Success. My name is Therese Perez and I'm the founder of myvirtualchangemanager.com. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm recording on Dharawal country and pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which I am recording, and elders both past, present and emerging. We are on the final countdown before the festive break. And one of the key things that we're probably all facing is, oh my gosh, we need to get organised for Christmas. Apart from that, I'm sure that there's a big push before Christmas in the change space to get things done and implemented. In the previous episode, I talked about considering what can be done and what can't be done and the risks associated with that. And hopefully you're communicating with your stakeholders about that if decisions need to be made about pausing or pushing the timelines into the following year, because opportunities may have been missed to deliver if things weren't on track by now. I'm sure that's the cycle that most organisations are in. And as we head into the silly season, there'll be a lot of festivities, a lot of celebration about the achievements to date, a lot of fatigue probably underlying that, a lot of people looking forward to having a break from the digital world and the world that we live in work-wise. Certainly, that's a bit of my space, so not trying to project much. One of the key things I want to talk about today was the call for communication. When your project program, the change that you're working on, people are asking about it, unclear about it, confused about it, and you're needing to get communication out urgently, what are the top 3 things you need to consider? The first thing I want to talk about is the actual messaging itself. What is the message you want to convey? Being clear about that, working with your stakeholders on that, working with your change sponsors on that. So the people who will be communicating the message, to know who's communicating the message, you need to know the impact and the high level impact of the change you're introducing. So it's a bit of a follow the bouncing ball. You may need to start with understanding the high level impact, finding that out fast. What is the change? So that you can develop what are the key messages, what are the key benefits, so that you've got that messaging platform ready. The second thing is to identify the change sponsors. So I talked about speaking with them. If you don't know who they are, that's going to be quite difficult. So you definitely want to, through your impact assessment, is understand who is going to need to discuss, talk about, influence this change, and what do the change sponsors, what roles do they have? So knowing that most change is going to be successful because of middle management, being aware of the change, being enabled to lead the change, you want to make sure that your change sponsors aren't just at the senior level. That's okay if you're at the beginning of your program and you want to set the foundation for it. And very relevant that the senior change sponsors at that point would be talking about it, repeating the key message, giving the high level messaging. But you definitely want to then empower middle management to gather questions, to find out their questions, so that you can then provide clarity so that they can start to lead the change as well with their teams. And there's definitely the middle managers of the teams who are impacted the most. You need to co-design, work with them, co-create the change plan for their area so that they're comfortable around the change approach and happy to lead it, and will communicate in line with that change if you have engaged them well. So identifying your change sponsors is the second stage. Understanding the key messages is the first part. The third part is ensure that there are feedback loops, that they are enabled, those feedback channels, because you want them set up from the get-go. And when you start communicating, you want to hear the feedback, You want to answer questions. You want to gather the questions. You want to analyze those, understand the themes, the concerns, unpack any questions that come through to ensure that you understand the intention. Sometimes one of the biggest missteps people have is misinterpreting the questions that are asked, or somehow trying to join dots that are not to be connected about questions that people are asking, or even worse, dismiss the questions because you just see it as change resistance. Have respect for people who ask questions. Don't take it personally. People are asking questions because they're seeking clarity. People will challenge change because they want you to think about something. Sometimes people ask questions to legitimately challenge the change, to highlight something that others may have missed, because they want to ensure that they don't get change or have to receive a product or a new process that doesn't work in their world. It's not just change resistance. So it's important just not to dismiss question asking to be change resistance and related to that. So they're the top 3 things. If you have had a call to communication, they're the 3 things to go through. Your message platform, what are the key messages? You must understand the impact to be able to give some sense of groundedness to your messages and clarity to your messages. Understand your change sponsors. Who's the executive sponsor? Who is representative of the change sponsorship level at middle management or frontline management? Make sure that you're aware of that. That also comes from your change impact assessment. And then the third step is ensuring that your feedback loops are evident, that they are present, so that you can start to gather the feedback that you receive, formal and informal, so that you can adapt your communication or your change or respond to the questions you receive in a timely manner to build trust. Just remember that feedback and feedback channels are a link in the chain of trust. So if you don't get back to people after they've provided you with feedback or questions, then you are breaking the link in the chain of trust, and you might have to work twice as hard to rebuild that. And that can compromise the trust for the change itself. So they're the 3 things I would suggest if you've had that call of urgent communication to take place. I hope that you're having a good run into the back end of this year. And I also want to acknowledge that this time of year can be tough for people, because the festive break, Christmas, the holidays, whatever you celebrate at this time of year, sometimes it can be quite lonely for people who might be away from family, friends who might have suffered a recent loss. It's not always a joyous occasion for people. So once again, this is part of that being aware, being able to read the room. Sure, celebrate, but also be conscious of if people are going through a tough time. I have definitely had it where some Christmases have not been as fun as they normally would be. And I do reflect on year-end events where I was struggling a little bit and not really celebrating as much as everyone else was. And it's important to always have that awareness for people, have that empathy for people who may not be firing on all cylinders at this time of year. So come to myvirtualchangemanager.com. Of course, I always talk about that. Sign up for our newsletter. Stay in touch. 2026 is going to be big. 2025 was big in the world of My Virtual Change Manager. We are rebuilding, we are reframing things, and hopefully I will be having a good, productive Christmas break, festive break, and I'm looking forward to launching new things in the new year. So hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening. I hope this added some value, maybe something where you're up to in your program, maybe something that you haven't really considered in relation to your communication and how you're approaching it for your change. I hope it helped. And just remember that change matters because you, your people, your organisation, and your sense of purpose, it all matters. Have a great day.